Space travel is not a new concept. Humans have been venturing into space for decades. The only problem is that it's too expensive to bring people back from space. But what if there was a way to make space travel cheaper? What if we could figure out how to create antimatter and use it in spacecraft? The idea of using this new material would be the perfect solution for bringing down the cost of space travel and making it more accessible to everyone. Let's dive into this topic today only on What AI Thinks. So, stay with us and don't forget to share, comment and subscribe. The importance of antimatter is more significant than you think for the future of expanding mankind's reach into the cosmos. Antimatter is a type of matter that has the same mass as ordinary matter but an opposite charge. Antimatter is something that we know to exist in the universe. It's not something new, but it's something that we haven't yet been able to harness for practical use. When antimatter and matter collide, they annihilate each other in a burst of energy. This would be an excellent source of energy for spacecraft if it could be harnessed on a large scale. Do you want to know how antimatter propulsion functions? Antimatter propulsion is the act of propelling a spacecraft utilizing thrust from an antimatter drive. Antimatter is a type of fuel that, when combined with normal matter, annihilates both and produces pure energy. The idea of antimatter propulsion has been around for decades, but the technology to make it work has only recently been developed. Antimatter propulsion is still in its early stages of development and doesn't have many applications yet. Here is a comprehensive breakdown on how we can use antimatters to power a spaceship to Mars. Antimatter was discovered in 1928 when Carl D. Anderson observed the tracks of cosmic rays on a cloud chamber and found they were not coming from all directions, as would be expected if they were produced by the same sources. The energy density of antimatter is much greater than that of ordinary matter because antimatter has no charge, and thus does not interact with electromagnetic fields in the same way. A significant amount of antimatter could provide motive power for space exploration missions without requiring prohibitive amounts of fuel. One problem with using antimatter for space travel is that it annihilates upon contact with ordinary matter, making it difficult to contain or use in most situations. However, it is possible to generate tiny amounts of positrons and electrons that can be used in a fuel cell. Right now the most common way NASA uses antimatter is by using positrons in a radioactive decay process during fuel cells to create electricity. This method, however, requires large amounts of material and needs high temperatures and pressures. It also causes radioactive waste products which are bad for the ecosystem. Here are the potential benefits and disadvantages of antimatter technology for propulsion. Antimatter is the perfect fuel for propulsion. It is a potential source of energy that could be used to power spacecraft and other vehicles. Antimatter technology does not produce any pollution or emissions, which makes it a sustainable fuel for the future. The main disadvantage of antimatter is that it is difficult to produce. Antimatter technology can only be used in space because the particles will annihilate on contact with ordinary matter, meaning they cannot be stored on Earth or in orbit around it. Potential benefits are: antimatter produces no pollution or emissions. It is sustainable. It can be used to power spacecraft and other vehicles. It has no limit to how much energy can be produced. Spacecrafts using antimatter as fuel can travel great distances without refueling. It is easy to store in orbit around the Earth or on Earth. Here are some disadvantages. Antimatter can be created in labs, but it is unlikely you can sustain it for more than a couple of nanoseconds with current technology. The energy amount is so high that it can destabilize the whole system and cause a catastrophic destruction. However, we can expect that one day our technology might be good enough to make this technology a reality, and I can assure you that the day is not so far. Space travel with antimatter would be a game changer in the future. It would allow humans to explore the universe by traveling faster than ever before. And maybe it will be possible for humanity to explore the infinite universe. Maybe one day we will be able to find the meaning of life in the vastness of this nothingness. There was a 1/1,000,000th chance that we would come into existence. Still, it happened. So, let's value our own life as well as others as long as we are alive. To get more content like this, support us by liking, commenting and sharing. See you in the next video.